I'm going to lower your grade in class because you cheated. You cheated the class. That's why I didn't cheat. And he said, you did. You cheated. I said, I didn't cheat. I just told you. I made it up in small material. He said, you cheated us by not sharing what you had all semester. And I know you had a great treasure to tell. And he was right. And Ananias and Sapphira cheated. They cheated the community by holding back. And the church is cheating the community, cheating the world by holding back the great love and generosity of God to everyone. The sermon's not about capitalism and it's not about socialism. It's about the way of God, which is always committed to the economics of neighborliness and of grace. When I was in high school, I dated a girl. I dated her for 4 years. Her name was Leslie Turner. She had a dad, Mr. Turner. A lot of people kind of, I don't know what they thought of him, but I was afraid of him. Mr. Turner had a country store. They were wealthy. I never even knew they were a wealthy family until years later. I've never really cared about that. But he was generous. He lived out in the country, and every time I went to see him or see his daughter, he would insist that I fill up my car with gasoline from his farm. So I ended up not paying for gas all the way through high school. That was a great gift. But anyway, he had a little country store he liked to keep going because they lived in a rural area and there were a lot of poor people there and they counted on his little store. Now, it would be one thing to think this is a way to make a lot of money because there was nothing else around. But what I learned, I would hang out a lot in the store so I could be around his daughter, my girlfriend. I was in the store a lot. I worked in the store. And a lot of people would come in, a lot of poor people would come in and they would ask for, they'd say, I'm sorry, Mr. Turner, I don't have any money. And he'd go, we'll just put it on a tab. Don't worry, we'll put it on a tab for you. Well, his wife, if she was present, would scold him when they left. Why did you allow that to go on a tab? You know they're never going to pay you back. They don't have anything. And he just ignored her. Well, one day when I was working, I decided to look up the tabs of people. Some people owe thousands of dollars. There's no way they could ever pay it back. And he would always just be very gracious and smile. Oh, yes, don't worry. You needed some groceries. Oh, yeah, we'll write that down and put it on the tab. So one day I was in his daughter's room. We were sitting on the bed talking. And all of a sudden, Mr. Turner comes busting into the room with a shotgun in his hand. And I thought, oh, God, this is it for me. I'm not even doing anything, but this is it. He said, come with me, William. And I thought, oh, my God, he doesn't want to get blood in the house. He's leading me outside. And what he did, he was shooting squirrels. And he had shot a squirrel on the roof. And he asked me to climb out there and get it, like I was a bird dog or something. But of course, he had the gun, so I went out there and got it. I came back in and he said, get in the truck. We got in his Jeep Wagoneer and we went to town, not town, it was a community, it was small. We went to the community where the really poor people were. And he gave out these squirrels because people would eat squirrels. And I thought, this is my time. I'm going to ask him a question about those tabs. I said, Mr. Turner, I was looking at all those tabs you've got all these people on. Don't you realize they'll never be able to pay you back? He said, well, of course they'll never be able to pay me back. And I said, well, why do you keep giving them an extended tab? Some people come in here a lot. He said, well, they've got children and families. What are they going to do, starve? And I said, but they'll never pay you back. Remember, I was like 16 years old. I was still trapped in the idea that the capitalism was a good thing. I didn't know enough about Christianity yet. He said, you know, William, they'll never be able to pay me back. That's not the point. The point is, I have the ability to have this little store. And there are people here who have great needs. And I can help them in their need. And the point was never that I would be paid back. He said, my wife never seemed to understand that. The point isn't to be paid. The point is to meet the need. He said, this is a way for them to have their needs met and still keep their dignity about them. Because sometimes they come in and they might have an extra $1 and they'll pay $1 on that tab. And I'll brag on it and say, thank you. And they have their dignity. And they have their need met. He went on to say, but if I never see a penny from them, that's fine too. The point isn't for me to make a profit, William. The point is for them to be cared for. The church doesn't exist to survive. The church doesn't exist just to take care of itself. The church doesn't exist so that we can get out of hell free. The church exists to teach the world how to live in peaceful unity. And the only way to teach that is by living that ourselves, by being generous, gracious people. I know the sermon's long, and I don't really think anybody's going to go this far to hear it. But if you did, I thought this was very important. And I hope you receive the blessing of living it. Amen.